let's talk a little bit about the program today. Next thing, we will have Pieter Litjens, who is a long-time advocate for cycling. Formerly, he used to be a politician in the City of Amsterdam, and nowadays he is the director at GROW. It's a technology platform for mobility and transportation, and of course cycling is one of the important topics in there. Mr. Litjens will give us a brief on where to pay attention today, what is like the big picture. But before that, who else do we have?
Yeah, and then after Mr. Litjens, the first keynote will be delivered by Klaus Bondam, the director of the Danish Cycling Federation and a former mayor in the city of Copenhagen. He will tell us why a functional cycling city is a functional city. And of course, his expertise is highly valuable because we all know that Copenhagen is maybe the first or second best cycling city in the world. Maybe he can tell us more about that.
And then you all know that this event has been organized by a project called Handshake, and we will hear more about that. Henna Hovi, who you already have met from City of Helsinki, and Oskari Kaupunmäki, who is the City of Helsinki cycling coordinator, together with Henrik Lundorf, who comes from City of Copenhagen, will discuss about that project and what we can learn from that and expect from the project as well. But now it's time for us to hear what these speakers have to say. And let's start with Pieter Litjens. Like I said, he will tell you what to keep your eyes and ears on. Please, warm welcome.
Thank you very much. And I, when I was a deputy mayor of the City of Amsterdam, we always were very anxious what the organization Copenhagenize would proclaim as the best city, cycling city in the world. And when we topped the list, we were very happy with it, and we told everybody. And when we became second after Copenhagen, we told everybody, well, it's not that important what place, the place you have, the intentions, that's what counts. Well, I think you can say that Helsinki is well on its way. And Annie, you already mentioned it, you're well on your way, really. I heard you saying that the city of Helsinki, due to the elections, the past elections, is lacking a strategy. It has to be made up in the next couple of months, I guess. But don't forget that you already have a solid base from which you can work. And you just highlighted some goals and sub-goals from your bicycle action plan, and I also read it. I also saw the 2021 bicycle account. And I think that you can say that Helsinki is well on its way. A solid base, a lot of good work done by the team. A little bit, well, short introduction. I was deputy mayor of the City of Amsterdam for 4 years. Right now I'm general director of CROA, that's what we call it. It used to be an abbreviation, but nobody knows anymore what it stood for, so CROA is a lot simpler. We're a technology platform not only on mobility and infrastructure, but also on public space. And I think it's important to mention, because public space is, I think the function of public space is one of the main issues the forthcoming years when it comes to transformation of cities. It's not only mobility. Our tasks involve research in the area of traffic, infrastructure, public space, standardization. We do a lot of standardization. We make guidelines. We have about 350 municipalities in the Netherlands. And although Amsterdam is a real big city with a lot of staff occupying itself with cycling, there are a lot of small municipalities with only 1 or 2 people who have to cover the entire aspect of mobility, cycling and everything. And it's practically impossible to keep up with the latest developments. So what we do is gathering information, gathering knowledge, developing knowledge together with the experts, not only from municipalities or national government, but also from private parties and NGOs. And we distribute the knowledge. We take care that people can work with the knowledge we develop, because you can develop knowledge, but when it ends up on a bookshelf, it's worthless. It has to be used. And that's always something you have to take into account. Enough about us. These 3 days are about you, the 3 coming days, about the city of Helsinki and the question of cycling as a part of Helsinki's vitality. And I saw the ambition and I saw the sub-goals, and they were already mentioned. And I would like to make some short remarks on the sub-goals and the challenges you have, the ambitions you have. And then I would like to make some general remarks. And I hope that it helps us and helps you to get in touch together and exchange our knowledge on the function of cycling when it comes to make it a more livable and healthy city. Safer and better parking facilities. You just showed us a picture of your central station and a tunnel you are going to make, but don't forget the parking of bicycles. Bicycle parking will be a problem when you achieve your goals. When the model share will rise, you will have parking problems. It's a luxury problem, but it's a problem if you don't solve it. More cycling means the need for more parking facilities, and the Netherlands is now coping with that problem very much. In the crowded and densely populated inner cities, parking of bicycles has become a real problem, and with a national agenda of investments of hundreds of millions of euros, bicycle parkings have been built, mostly underground, in station areas, train station areas, metro stations, and it helps you to keep your public space livable. It not only goes for bicycles, it also goes for other modes of modality. I noticed when I walked up to City Hall from a central station, I counted about 18 cycling people on a bicycle, and I counted also about 18 people on an electric scooter. And I counted a lot of electric scooters parked everywhere. If you don't take care of good parking facilities for cycling, you will have the same problem you will encounter with your electric scooters as for bicycle. So a risk with micromobility solutions, it's not to frighten you, but it's something you have to take into account. Also because electric scooters, they do something when it comes to sustainability. They're also COW neutral, but it's a lazy form of mobility. It's a lazy form of mobility. Try to choose active forms of mobility. Cycling, and don't forget, well, you don't forget pedestrians because everybody's walking in Helsinki, I noticed. Everybody's walking, it's great. Underground parking is an expensive solution, but it's a solution that provides safety and comfort. At Amsterdam Central Station, a total of 22,000 parking places will be realized in 2025. Half of them, 11,000, underground. And it's also a way to say to people, we care about you. We care about you as cyclists. We want to accommodate you. When it comes to a more extensive and better connected network of cycling routes, we see that a lot of investments have been made in the last few years in a lot of cities, not only in Amsterdam, but also here in Helsinki. I saw it in your bicycle action plan and in the 2021 account. A few aspects that play important roles when it comes to a network, a successful network, are coherence. It has to be a complete network without missing links, a consistency of quality, a choice of more than one route. It has to be a part in a mobility chain. Last mile solutions, you already mentioned it. Directness, no unnecessary detours. Attractiveness is important, comfort, and I already saw that you're doing a lot about it. I will skip some points to go to the general remarks, because we're focusing on mobility and on cycling. But let cycling be the default. When you renovate the city's infrastructure, do it from the perspective of the cyclist and the pedestrian, not the car driver. Let the slow speed modalities be the default in your city planning, not necessarily to reduce speed, although reducing speed is good for traffic safety, but because we're talking about the active modalities. Second one, there is more than mobility. Too often public space is primarily used to accommodate traffic, mainly car, bus, and tramways. You can see it in the design of a lot of cities, modern cities with 4-lane streets where the space for cyclists or pedestrians is limited, but also in old cities like Amsterdam, 400 years old, narrow streets, canals, everything. Most of the public space is used for car parking. When it comes to designing or redesigning public space, take into account that moving people is only one of the many functions of public space. There is so much more: a meeting place, a working space, a place to work out, a place for children to play. And yet the predominant function city planners take into account is mobility. Change that perspective and realize that in order to make city really livable, there needs to be a good balance between the different functions of public space. The devil is in the detail. Cycling is serious business, so when you invest in cycling infrastructure, take it seriously and pay attention to details. They're much more important than you think. So provide enough passing space on cycle paths. When you place poles to prevent cars from driving on cycle paths, make sure you use flexible poles. And when you install new curbs on cycle paths, make sure you use shallow curbs. It increases both cycling comfort as well as cycling safety. Patience and perseverance, and that's very important, especially for policymakers. Changing a city into a more livable city is not something you can do overnight. And I know you're in a hurry, you just told me, but it takes courage and also patience to change. Because change hurts, everybody knows. And although policymakers would love a world in which big changes are made within a period of 4 years, a regular term of office in most countries, it often takes much longer to achieve a real difference. Drastic measures will have great impact, not only in a positive way, it would also cause a lot of resistance. People who are hindered by renovation of streets and squares, projects that take too long, shopping streets that are closed down, entrepreneurs complaining about missing customers. So proceed step by step, not too much at a time, and take into account all the stakeholders and take them serious. Let inhabitants, entrepreneurs, children participate in your plan making. It will slow things down a bit, that's for sure. But it will create a support base for the execution of your plans. And the last thing, don't be afraid of a grand gesture. Perhaps a little bit contradictory to the step-by-step approach I just mentioned, but each city needs icons. And when you want to uplift cycling in your city, a cycling icon is what you need. And a perfect example is the Lille Langebro in Copenhagen, and I hope I pronounce it right. Not only a jewel for the city, but also a statement that cycling is not a byproduct of mobility, but a priority in itself. Thank you.